Hey guys, it's Charlotte here from charlotteohara.ca, and in today's video tutorial, we are going to talk about how SEO works for Squarespace Index Pages. So recently I was checking my email, and one of the questions that came up, and I do get this a lot, is somebody asked how SEO works for Squarespace Index Pages. Like they didn't know how it works, they were confused about certain things, and I realized that actually this is a very, very good question. And even though I've answered it several times, like in my private SEO consulting sessions, I've never actually answered this question publicly here on the blog or done a YouTube tutorial about it. So I decided that this topic, all about Squarespace Index Pages, deserved its very own post and video tutorial so that everyone else can see the answer. So Squarespace SEO can be quite a confusing topic, and when you're adding index pages into the mix, like it's no wonder that people get completely lost and they're like, wait, how does this work again? So in this video tutorial, I'm going to break it down, show you everything you need to know, and give you a proper tutorial here. Okay, so we're going to start off this video by looking at like how Squarespace index pages are different from regular Squarespace pages. And from this, you'll be able to see where the initial confusion comes from. And then from here, we're going to look at SEO titles and the description fields, which fall under the page settings, so that we can go over how to correctly fill them out. And from there, we're going to move on and review something called a Noindex tag, as well as hiding index page subpages from search engines. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you what to do if any of the index page subpages are still showing up in Google search results. So there is a lot of content in this video tutorial, and I admit it's a little bit technical, so just follow along with me. I'm going to show you using examples on my own website here, which is like charlotteohara.ca, and hopefully if you're seeing everything done visually, it should make a bit more sense to you. Okay, so that is enough talk. That's a pretty lengthy intro, so let's get right at it and start talking about Squarespace SEO and index pages. Okay, so first off, let's go over the difference between regular pages and index pages. So when it comes to Squarespace websites, there's a couple different types of pages that you can create, but the two most popular choices are probably regular and index pages. So remember, if you're creating a new page like on a Squarespace website, you might want to click like a blank page for a regular page or an index page here. And so index pages are basically like a collection of pages. So you can see here, like on my Squarespace SEO page, for example, like you've got like a collection of different pages that make up like the content of the entire page here. So it's basically like a group of these pages that are stacked together to create like one mega page. And search engines like Google are going to interact with them differently than like a regular page. So regular pages, let me show you an example here, okay? So let's take a look at my Squarespace SEO checklist, like the landing page here as an example. Okay, so if you're looking at a regular page, you can see that it only has one URL slug, right? Like this URL slug section here. And that's because the content of the page is all in one place, right? And that's different from, let's say, a index page where, you've got the like top level page here, and that has its own URL slug. But each of these small sections down here too also have their own, you can fill out their own URL slug for each of these index subpages. So like, let's look at this one again as an example. Yep, see another like SEO slug, and then this third one. Again, yep, another slug there. So this is where one of the big differences is. And, you can either have like a regular page which is standalone, or you can have the index page that is made up of all these little ones, and they're all housed under like the top level page. So that's one of the big differences and confusion points, okay? And another thing I want to talk about is the SEO fields. So whether you're adding like a regular page or, so like a regular page kind of back down like this one, the Squarespace SEO checklist landing page, or if you're talking about like an index page, like my, Squarespace SEO series page, which remember it's made up of like a bunch of different sections here. Either way, you're going to see that in the page settings, you have an entire tab, like let's see here, that is talking about SEO. Okay, so in this SEO page tab, you have the option to fill out like an SEO title, But then more importantly, there's this section down here, which is an SEO description field. And this is from my experience, this is where most of the confusion comes from, right? So people who are new to Squarespace SEO, or maybe if they've like taken the DIY route on their websites in the past, they're not really sure how these SEO fields work for the different pages, specifically like with an index page. So in order to really understand what's going on, like let's take a look at how this works, okay? So going back to our regular page, like this Squarespace SEO checklist landing page, it's pretty straightforward, right? Because, you know, the regular page only has one page. So when you're filling out this SEO title and the SEO description field, it's simple, right? There's only one thing to do. It's only kind of like, it is its own top level page, right? But then that's different than if you're comparing it to the index page, right? Because at the highest level, you know, you've got this like top level page that you would go in and fill out the SEO fields here. But then it gets a little trickier, right? Because you have all of these other like sub pages. And if you click on the gear icon beside each of the sub pages, you can see that in fact you also have the same SEO title and SEO description fields for each of those little subsections, right? So it gets confusing on that point, right? And imagine like we're talking about, you know, like a page like this or something, you know, it's got multiple pages. You're going to see that even more on a home page or a sales page, like whatever. But basically people are confused because they don't know on the index page, like, should they repeat all of this section here, like the SEO field and description that's on the top level? Do they repeat that same thing on all of these subheaders? Do they fill them out independently? Like, that's where most of the confusion lies. Okay, so let's move on now and talk about how index pages and subpages might show up in search results. So index pages and their subpages, so when I'm talking about subpages, I'm talking about like these little ones here, like the header, the SEO info, whatever. Their appearance in search results might vary, but there are some things you can do to like influence what shows up. So from what I've seen, most people want the index page to appear in search results, but they only want it to appear like as if the page is one long stacked cohesive page, right? So they would want like this page, let's say the Squarespace SEO page, to appear like in its entirety in search results. They don't want it like, they wouldn't want like just this header section to appear in search results, or just this like SEO info and resources section, or like the pre-footer. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay, so remember, if you're getting kind of confused as to like why would only a part of it show up in search results, like think back about how you fill these out, right? So like remember, each one of these subpages in an index page has its own URL slug, and you can fill out the SEO title and description. So in theory, if you're doing all of that kind of stuff, it makes sense that, you know, one of these index subpages would show up in search results, right? And if you're filling all of that out, that's different from like your goal, which is having the entire page show up. So maybe that was a little bit wordy, so I'm going to try saying it again differently. So both the index page and the direct link for its subpages may appear in search results depending on their content. So something that people do, in fact, is that they might want to hide the Squarespace Index subpages from appearing in search results. And if you go ahead and hide these subpages from appearing in search results, then that basically means that the only thing that someone might see in search results is like the top level index page, which means like everything that exists on the page in its entirety. So not any of these small sections on their own independently, no, just the top section, the entire index page. Okay, so this is totally possible, and it's actually not that hard to set up either. So to hide these subpages, like, you know, this is a subpage, this is a subpage, this is a subpage, if you want to hide these from search engines, there's a couple different ways you can do it. First of all, you can add a noindex tag to each of these subpages. And if you add the noindex tag to one of these pages and hide it from a search engine, it means that it's still, like, someone can still access this page and stuff, but they can only access it when it's viewed on the index page entirely, right? Like they can't view that one section on its own. And again, this is exactly what most of you are probably going for. So let's talk about how you go about adding that no index tag. So there's two options for doing this. So the first one is in the page settings. So again, let's say I want to hide this particular subpage. So I'm going to click on to open up the page settings. And then over in the SEO tab, if you scroll down, you can see that there's a little button down towards the bottom that says hide this page from search engine results. So you're going to click on that one, and then all you do is save. And that's it. Like, it's really easy. You would have to go through and repeat that for any of the subpages that make up an index page to make sure that it's performing that way. And then once you've done that and hidden, like you've hidden this header subpage through the SEO fields, you've clicked it there, et cetera, then that means that someone will only be able to access the content from the top level index page. There's another way you can do that too, and that's with something called like the code injection. And it's kind of, same but different if you get my drift. But a code injection is a little bit, I guess you could say, harder because you have to manipulate a bit of code. So if that's something that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to do code, just stick to the page setting options. I would say that the major difference to keep in mind between the two options is that the page setting option removes the page from the sitemap, and so it's not a feature that's available for home pages. I've got my home page here, so I couldn't do that on all of the subpages that make up my home page. And then with the code injection option, however, like the page or like the site still stays on the sitemap, and it's also something you can do on the home page. So let's say I wanted to hide any of these subpages on the home page, I would have to hide them from search engines by using the code injection one. Okay, so I've shown you how to do the no index tag using the pages settings. So now let's talk about how to add the no index tag with a code injection. So I'm just going to be very simple here. So from, let's say you want to hide a specific page, like pretend in my free course one. Let's say I want to hide this page here. Okay. To add the no index tag with the code injection, I'm going to go to the page settings, which I've done here. Then I'm going to go to the advanced tab, and then I'm going to add a bit of code here to this section. So if you're like, what is the code? Let me just grab it here. So I'm just pulling it from this blog post that I've got. So I would just copy this bit of text here, go back over, put it in the advanced tab, the page header code injection. And once that's done, I just click save. Okay, so again, if you want to access that little bit of code, it's just in the blog post that goes along with this video tutorial, which I've linked to if you're watching it on YouTube. And that's it. So just remember that you will have to add the no index tags manually for each of the subpages. So for each one of these subpages here, you're going to have to add that no index tag manually, and that's it. So just rinse and repeat, basically. Okay, now I want to talk about another question that relates to index pages and SEO. So the question is, do you still have to fill out the SEO titles and description fields if you have a no index tag in place for the index subpages? So again, going back to our example of this free course, remember how with the free course header, I just put in the no index code here? Basically, the question would be do I then have to also or still fill out the SEO title and the SEO description for these subpages, even though I've hidden them using the no index tag? And the answer to that question is no. If you have chosen to hide all of the subpages of an index page from the search results, again, either by using the page setting, like click the box, or else by putting this code into the advanced field, then all you need to focus on is the SEO title and description that are in the top level index page. So again, using our free course example here, the top level index page is this the top one here on the page. So I would go to the social tab and make sure that it's filled out, the optional title as well as the description here. Okay, and the reason for this is because the top level index page is the only thing that search engines are going to see now that all of the other subpages have been hidden. And again, as such, there's no need to fill out all the SEO title and description fields for the subpages if they're being hidden or hidden from search engines. So I hope that clarifies it. Another thing that I do want to talk about is requesting a reindex of your Squarespace website. So if you've already added any Noindex tags to the pages that make up your index pages, so remember, like, if I've added a Noindex tag to this page or this subpage, blah, 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 all these ones that make up an index page, then you might notice that, like, maybe the content of these pages still appears in search results, even after you've, clicked those buttons or added the code in. And if you notice this is happening, don't panic. All you have to do is request a reindex, and you do that by verifying your site with Google Search Console. So again, if you're looking at this blog post that I have here, just click on the link and you'll follow through the instructions. It's pretty simple. Okay, so that is everything. Thank you so much for watching this video tutorial all about Squarespace SEO and index pages. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button down below to make sure that you don't miss out on any other videos that are here on my channel. And if you want to, go crazy. You can even leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'd love to hear from you. If you're new around here, I want to let you know that I have so much content all about Squarespace SEO. So if you go to charlotteohara.ca and just click on the Squarespace SEO link in the top navigation, you're going to get all my information about Squarespace SEO. I've got an SEO checklist. I have tons of blog posts. I've got some video trainings. I even offer Squarespace SEO audits and consulting sessions, and tons of resources for you. So if you're interested in any of that, just hop over to my site and grab any of that. I also have a free email course that you can sign up for. It's called Launch Your Best Site. And Launch Your Best Site is all about how to build and launch a Squarespace website. So again, you can access it on my website. Just go to charlotteohara.ca and click on this free course section here. I've also linked to it down in the video description if you're watching it on YouTube. So you can also take a look at all the other videos that are on my YouTube channel, or head over to my blog and blogs on my website, and you can read lots more content there all about Squarespace, SEO, website design and development, online business, and other tech tips. So thank you again so much for watching this video all about index pages and Squarespace SEO. I hope you learned something. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you can go ahead and take some of these things and apply it on your own website, and let me know what kind of results you get. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again, and I will see you soon. Bye now.